So I started off by rummaging around my scrap wood bin and found a couple of pieces of wood that I could make the mallet from. I decided to make the mallet about 5 inches wide. So here I'm just drawing a line using a combination square to show where I'm going to cut the piece. And I'm using the miter gauge on my table saw to make the cut. With the first piece cut, I'm going to use it to mark where the second piece needs to be cut. So here are the first two pieces cut. This is going to be the back and the front of the mallet head. The two pieces you see on the right are going to go in the middle. You'll see in a minute what that means. I decided to make the handle 1 inch wide, so here I just set the fence on my table saw for a 1 inch cut. So let me show you how these pieces are going to go together. There's the back plate of the mallet head, the handle, the middle pieces, and the top plate of the mallet head. Here I've drawn some lines that show where the mallet handle goes. Notice the two little pencil marks on the mallet handle. I'm going to drill some holes right there. Now I'm going to use some finish nails and drive them into the holes I just drilled. I'm going to use these finish nails as alignment pins when I glue the whole thing together. Here I'm going to square up the handle to the back of the mallet head using a speed square. After it's all square, I'm going to tap on those finish nails and make a mark on the back of the mallet head to show where they poke through. Now it's back over to the drill press just to drill some shallow holes where I made those two marks. So I'm going to repeat this procedure with the finish nails for both of the middle pieces. So now I'm going to cut off the finish nails. They don't need to be this long. I'm going to use a pair of diagonal cutters to cut the finish nails. Before I actually cut the nail off, I'm just going to drape a rag over it just so the cut-off piece doesn't fly. Here you can see that the rag did indeed trap the cut-off piece of the nail. Now I'm going to mark where the shallow holes need to be drilled in the front plate of the mallet head. Just going to use the cut-off end of the finish nails to make the marks. So here you can see the 4 marks. I thought I'd take a second here and use a file just to sharpen up the cut-off end of the finish nails, just so that the nails will line up with the holes I drilled a little bit easier when I go to assemble the whole thing. With all the pieces cut and all the finish nail / alignment pins in place, it's time to do glue up. First I put some masking tape down on the work surface just so the mallet doesn't wind up getting glued to the workbench. Got all my tools ready to go. Time to start spreading some glue. With the handle in position, now I can cut off the extra length of the finish nails. Here I'm going to square up the handle to the back of the mallet head. Time to start spreading some glue. With all the pieces assembled, it's time to clamp it up. As I tighten the clamps, some of the glue gets squeezed out. That's why I put the masking tape down, so the mallet didn't wind up getting glued to the workbench. After the glue was dry, it was time to take off the clamps. I drew a couple lines where I'm going to trim up both sides of the mallet head. I'm going to use the miter saw to make the trim cuts. Now it's time to trim the mallet handle to length. Here I'm using the disc sander just to square off the end of the mallet handle. Alright, ready to start sanding. For this project I've chosen to sand it manually. I'm just using a piece of 80 grit sandpaper that's been glued down to a piece of MDF. Here I had to cut a smaller piece of sandpaper to get to the places I couldn't reach otherwise. Alright, sanding's all done. I'm going to apply some Danish oil as the finish for this project. It's always fun to see the oil hit the end grain as opposed to the long grain. So there you have it, my finished mallet. Thanks for watching.